Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick Foles. Let's make some noise indeed. Everybody, hello. Welcome back to the program. It's a great night to be here. It's a great night to see you. It's great to be back again. That's the final word. The final word. What does that mean? Well, it's your final word of your sports day as it pertains to all things Philadelphia sports related, and then some. I like to believe that I stretch my limits out at times. So this is a program where you can come share your opinions and your thoughts and your reactions, your overreactions, all those things to some of the hottest stories of the day and beyond. So it's great to be back here with you tonight on this Monday night, February 16th. As the show title indicates, spring training, full squad workouts, they are all here. We can all let out a collective sigh of relief. Baseball season has officially returned. I don't care what it might look like outside your window. And yes, I know there's about still a good 3 feet of snow where I'm at on the ground, but at least somewhere in the world, there's professional baseball happening. At least they're practicing, and that's one step closer. Friday, of course, for those of you that are really jonesing for the MLB, is when spring training baseball will kick off officially, and then Saturday is when the Phillies will kick it off in Dublin against the not Ireland, Dublin, Florida, or Dublin, whatever, however you call it, against the Toronto Blue Jays. First home game will be on Sunday at Baycare against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That game will be locally televised. They announced the local television schedule for, I think they're televising all the home games this year, all the spring training home games, and then they mentioned 3 of 8 of the road games when they play the Twins. So they get you guys all ready for a great spring training of Phillies baseball. And I'm happy to be back here talking about baseball. We're not really talking about baseball yet because we're still talking about the drama of baseball and the drama that is the Philadelphia Phillies. That has been not an active offseason when it comes to adding people, or not an active offseason when it comes to maybe the health, the welfare of the baseball team. But boy, it's been active when it came to the drama. And it's very good that we can now start focusing on the field, because it's just been one of those off seasons that might have seemed boring, but it wasn't because of all the drama. And that is definitely not what you want heading into a potential World Series year. I'm going to say that for, until they prove me, well, they're proving me incorrect every year, but they're still kind of going into this season as World Series contenders and World Series favorites. So it's thankful that we can get back to playing some baseball. But yeah, Joe Hale says, hey, everyone. Joe, what's up? So yeah, the conversation will be Phillies driven. Of course, tonight we can continue to talk about the Phillies. If you want to go down the road of the Bryce Harper drama, you want to go down the road of the Nick Castellanos drama, you want to go down the road of the Dave Dombrowski drama, Rob Thompson drama. Hell, if you want to throw some Don Mattingly drama into the mix, because I saw something on the internet today that down there at Baycare, I've never been. Well, that's not true. I was there when it was the Carpenter Complex years ago, long time ago. But they've updated it a lot since I've been there. And they got a fenced-in area where the players park, and they also have an area that's up closer to the field or to the stadium entrance where the coaches park. And each coach has their own private little personal parking space. And Don Mattingly has his own, and every other coach has their own. Is that bull crap? Right? Shouldn't they all be parking with the players? So we talk about Don Mattingly and his private personalized parking space and all the other coaches that have spaces down at Baycare. If you want to get that deep into it, I'll talk that. We are going to do some Eagles talk tonight because we're going to reintroduce the top storylines by position group of 2025. Tonight, we're going to talk wide receivers and what were the top storylines with that group. Yeah, I know. Of course, does it go above and beyond A.J. Brown? It does. I definitely think there's more storylines about the wide receivers than just A.J. Brown. So we're going to get into that tonight. We've done the offensive line. We did the quarterbacks last week. This week, we're going to do the wide receivers and probably finish up over the next course of the next couple of weeks with the offense before transitioning over to the defense. So we're going to do that. Our card of the night, our of the night, and our day in Philadelphia sports history, all there for you tonight in a jammed-packed episode. So let's get it rolling with a peek at the schedule. This is what you have to look forward to this week on the network. Earlier tonight, you had the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program. You got me. Tomorrow, it's the same thing. A little doubleheader action there tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, it's we're going to up the ante, and we're going to throw in the Pittsburgh Sports Desk at 8. Thursday, it's the Gridiron Weekly and me. And then Friday, the Philly Friday Frenzy. Best of the It's a Wrap Sports on Saturday all day long. And then the Philly AM Sports and Final Word with MattyB maybe on Sunday. That might be a travel day. I may be hitting the road that day. Thought I was going to leave on Saturday, but now I think I'm leaving on Sunday. So that's up in the air. So we'll take that one day at a time, one step at a time. But that is your week in advance here on the network. So let's get it going. Let's strap it in, strap it on, strap it up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times, and let's roll with our day in Philadelphia sports history. Today, in 1970, Philadelphia's most accomplished heavyweight boxer, Smokin' Joe Frazier, won the undisputed title, knocking out Jimmy Ellis in the 5th round at Madison Square Garden. Ellis was little more than a space filler, snatching up Muhammad Ali's vacated belt because of the whole draft thing in an elimination tournament of which Frazier refused to participate. So that's interesting. They had like a freaking heavyweight championship belt tournament to claim the belt vacated by Muhammad Ali. Pretty cool. Frazier's victory, while an important accomplishment for the champ, was essentially a warm-up fight for the fight of the century that would take place after Ali's reinstatement in 1971 on March 8th. So congratulations, Smokin' Joe Frazier, as he won the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world on this day back in 1970. I don't spare any cost. It's not just the 4 majors we talk about. We're talking boxing. So congratulations to Philadelphia's own Smokin' Joe Frazier and his victory over Jimmy Ellis on this day in 1970, capturing the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And of course, that all really set up the best fight that ever happened, which was about a year later against Muhammad Ali in the fight of the century. They said Wheeler will get extended this spring. I didn't hear that. And maybe I'm taking that the wrong way. You mean extended as in another contract, or extended as in they're going to like pitch him out? I don't know if I would have heard that. I would have paid attention to it, a contract extension for Zach Wheeler. I don't know if that's completely accurate. And I don't know if it is accurate. I don't agree with it. No, not at all. How the hell are you going to extend Zach Wheeler? If we're talking contract, how are you going to extend him coming off of a potential career-threatening injury that we don't know if he's bounced back from? That makes no sense if that's true. And if it is true, and if that's what they're doing, damn, man. I mean, the drama continues, but I don't agree with that at all. Oh, he's saying more spring training. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. I was going to say, Joe, you got me all revved up about a contract extension. Like, how are they going to do that for? Yeah. And that's what we figured, right? There was nobody that actually thought Zach Wheeler was going to be ready for opening day. Was there? Was there anybody out there that thought he was going to be ready for opening day? The GM or the president told you the date he was pitching. I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, go back into YouTube, Google, X, the Phillies webpage, research, go all the way back to the end of season press conference by Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson back then in I guess it was it maybe mid-October at this point? It was about a week or so after they were eliminated from the playoffs. He said May 28th. He expects Zach Wheeler to be standing on a pitcher's mound, not taking, soft toss or long toss or PFP, but standing on a pitcher's mound, ready to pitch. He said it on May 28th. The man said the date. So I know it's been a secret to a lot of people, but it wasn't a secret to me. I watched the press conference. I heard the man say it. Now, am I going to hold him to May 28th? Yes. Yes, I am. That's the guy with the finger on the pulse, right? Now, I know there's been some reports that Zach Wheeler has responded faster in his rehab process, but is there really a rush on Zach Wheeler at this point? I mean, let's be honest, right? I know some people out there, Kaepernick's one of them, don't believe in the Phillies pitching depth, have some issues with it. I don't, honestly, because this is essentially the same rotation minus Ranger, and that's a pretty big loss. But this is essentially the same rotation that carried this team from late July into the playoffs. And of course, unless you were watching a different Phillies team than I was, it wasn't the offense that was carrying them. It was the pitching without Zach Wheeler. And I'm not saying that I suggest or prescribe that they go the whole season without him and roll the dice. Absolutely not. They're much better with him than they are without him. If, of course, he is Zach Wheeler. But if you're going to have to start the season without Zach Wheeler, so be it. I think they can survive it for about 6 weeks. I honestly do. I have no questions about that. That is actually, as MattyB's list of like Phillies concerns in 2026, Zach Wheeler's down at the bottom. He really is. He's really down at the bottom of that list. I'm much more concerned about the offense, as I am every year with this team, than I am with the pitching. Because the pitching is pretty damn good, even as it is. And I know people are like, what are you talking about? Ranger Suarez is gone. Yeah, I know he is. Zach Wheeler's on the mend. Yeah, I know he is. But this was the same group that took him down the stretch last year. Yes, without Ranger. I get it. Painter, we're asking. But we're not asking Painter, essentially, to do this. We're asking a Moneyball thing. We need Painter and Walker. And who else? Painter, Walker, Backus, Shugart, Seth Johnson, Moises Chase, if they get really creative, Gene Cabrera. We're asking a whole litany of pitchers to chip in for one pitcher. We're doing a Moneyball thing. We're replacing Ranger with about 7 people, right? We're just asking for a few innings there. I think they'll be fine. I really do. Again, though, I get it. Zach Wheeler needs to come back and be Zach Wheeler, but I don't need to rush that process along. And if he's out for 6 weeks, so be it. It's fine by me. And, of course, you also want to get him up here when the weather's better. At end of May, it's better weather. So, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. What's going on, Bruce Harper? How are you tonight? MattyB, I feel Dumbo is right to say Bryce isn't a superstar anymore if he can't play like he should. We talked about this last night, Bruce. And he said, I'm not elite, not a superstar. Superstar. He didn't say that. He said, he's not elite. No, he was 100% spot on. And I know last night we talked about Bryce Harper saying, well, I'm not motivated by it. I just wear the T-shirts they gave me to wear. What kind of horse shit is this? I mean, come on. Be a man, Bryce. It irked you. It pissed you off. It rubbed you the wrong way. It's okay to say that. Don't pander to me or us and by saying that I don't need to be motivated. Of course he's motivated. What was that situation a couple of years ago with the second baseman from the Braves when he when the Bryce Harper got thrown out for trying to tag up from first to go to third, and he had to run back to first, and he got tagged out to end the game. And not today or something like that, he said to him, or not tonight. And then the next night he hits those home runs and he stares a damn hole through that guy's chest as he's running around the bases. So don't tell me that's an attaboy, Bryce. Yeah, don't tell me that doesn't motivate you, that Dombrowski's saying not elite. Of course it motivates you. It's okay to say that. And as far as Dombrowski and the comments about Harper said, well, I wasn't, expecting him to air that out in public. Well, you know what? Bryce Harper didn't stop Bryce Harper for airing out the management issues back in 2020, back in the COVID year when they had the cardboard fans in the stands and he's hitting home runs, running around empty Citizen Bank Park yelling, sign him at the top of his lungs. Didn't stop Bryce Harper from airing out some of the organization's problems, huh? So what's if it ain't good for the goose, why is it not good for the gander? Come on, Bryce. You don't walk on friggin' clouds, my man. You don't. So you're right. I have no issues with it. I got no problems with it. I know in my generation, if that was me that they were saying it about, I would take it. I would be like, he's right. He's absolutely 100% right. I wasn't elite. I did not give the Phillies, I did not give them a good yeoman's day work, right? I should pay back some of my money that I got last year because I didn't do the right thing. But, and also, why is this even a friggin' thing? Who cares? That's your boss. Your boss is allowed to criticize you. 100%. Bryce, you don't write the checks. Well, neither does Dombrowski, but Bryce, you don't write the checks, man. Put your head down and color, dude. So I agree with you, Bryce. Or Bryce. I'm calling you Bryce. Bruce. I feel I would have let Wheels get better before they make him pitch. Of course. There's no rush there. What's going on there, Al? I wouldn't rush him no matter the depth. I wouldn't rush him either. And I'm telling you, the pitching staff is the least of my concerns with this baseball team. The least about the pitching, and we will have Painter this year. Yeah, but Painter, I'm not. Listen, I hope Painter is the and Bruce, and I'm not saying that you're jumping the gun, but this is going to be a top story. Painter goes out, start 1, throws 6 innings, strikes out 11, gives up 2 runs. Right, comes out and start 2, last 3.5, gives up 9 runs, strikes out 1, and is yanked. Right, I don't want and we're about ready to ship him the hell out after 2 starts. You got to be patient with Painter, and I mean all year. I'm not saying you can't cast judgment upon Andrew Painter. Start 1, start 2, start 3. I mean, you all year, right? Andrew Painter's got a long road to go to get to where he is going to live up to his potential. Just 2 years now removed from Tommy John, and I really hope that people are not expecting him to come out there looking like the love child of Nolan Ryan and Steve Carlton. I really don't, because that's not what you should hope to see. What you should hope to see is a young man that deals with adversity well, that when he gets knocked around, either comes back the next start, learns from it, or makes the adjustments in game and mitigates damage, can pitch out of situations, can trust all of his pitches, not just his fastball, and has complete velocity and command back. Don't forget, we're still dealing with Tommy John recovery. I know a lot of people said he had a terrible year last year. I disagree. I don't know what you were expecting to see. All those people that said Andrew Painter had a terrible year last year. What the hell were you expecting from him? 1 year back from Tommy John. 1 year. You know, he finished with about a 5.88 ERA down in AAA. But he also finished, I think, over 200 innings pitched and no pain. Right? That's what the number I was looking for. He pitched a ton of innings last year and felt no pain. That's the win for me. I could give a damn about his ERA in AAA. I could care less. I was concerned about him pitching and not experiencing any pain. So, you know, Andrew Painter is going to hopefully be a great story, but I'm not necessarily going to put all my hope on him. And I just answered that question about trusting Andrew Painter. The big thing we need to get better is our hitting, as Bryce Harper hasn't been good and Stott and Bohm have not been good so far. So good, and our outfield needs work, except Crawford could be a star. Again, we're going with a lot of hope here, right? The unknown with Crawford. We don't know what he's going to be. But this is what happens when you get a situation with the Phillies that they're in right now. I hope there's more young players involved. I hope there's more question marks when it comes to some of these players as we move deeper into the season. I hope we're answering questions about Gabriel Rakonis Jr. at some point, Aiden Miller at some point this year. As far as the hitting, Bruce, your guess is as good as mine. I ain't going to pretend to know I know anything about this Phillies team other than what I've seen in 4 years. And until they prove different, I'm going to go with that. They're an undisciplined team that has terrible approaches at the plate, get lost in the moment, get big eyes at times when it comes to trying to get, hits or whatever. Don't use the entire field. You got guys like Stott and Bohm who are not power hitters trying to be power hitters. That's the biggest takeaway I can get from the Phillies offense. And I know the RISP, one of the positives of not being involved in baseball for 4 months is I don't have to worry about RISP, but those days are quickly evaporating. So we're going to get back to the RISP and the batting average with runners in scoring position and all that and the nonsense when it comes to that. But this lineup is still not structured correctly. There's still a lot of unstructured holes in this lineup, but getting rid of Castellanos, having Crawford at least show up and start his career, because obviously 9 is not where I envision Crawford to be when he matures into a major league player. Crawford's a leadoff hitter all the way. And if that works out sooner than later, you can move Crawford up to 1. You bounce Turner down to 2, Harper at 3, Schwarber at 4. That's about as balanced as it can be, 1 through 4, right? And that goes a long way. And then you can shuffle 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But until then, the lineup is still unbalanced. It's still unstructured. It's still not right. You got players that are batting out of positions and all that. The prospect of another year of Alec Bohm, batting cleanup, don't impress me, right? They don't make me happy. Bryson Stott, you mentioned him. Sinking him down to 8 in the lineup. Because I've seen some reports where they got JT batting 8th. I ain't doing that, man. Screw this lefty-righty thing. Until they can balance the lineup with actual, 2 hitters and 3 hitters and 4 hitters and 5 hitters, throw this lefty-righty crap out the window. This lineup, it's a matter of just looking at the hitter's profile with these players and saying, you fit the 2-hole. You fit the 3-hole. You are a 4-hitter. I'm not, the whole lefty-righty nonsense. Until you give me a structured batting lineup of players that are actually, rolled to play those positions, I don't want to hear any more about lefty-righty. I don't care about it. I really don't want to hear it. Because, again, you're going to use an old-school baseball principle of lefty-righty, but yet in an era of baseball where all we control, we don't care about strikeouts. All we care about is exit velos. All we care about is launch angles. And you're going to throw lefty-righty at me? No, it doesn't work that way. So until we revert back to the old school baseball, scrap lefty-righty. It's right now me looking at the player and saying, you know what, Alec Bohm, in no world are you a 4-hitter. I don't care if you're a right-handed bat. I don't. You're not a 4-hitter. So you're batting second because you're a contact hitter. You make contact with the ball. You move runners along. So you're going to bat second. Kyle Schwarber, on no planet of the earth or solar system, are you a 2-hitter, a leadoff hitter, or anywhere else? You're a 4-hitter. Don't care that you're a lefty. Don't care that you're a righty. Don't care that the guy in front of you who is a 3-hitter and Bryce Harper is a lefty either. I don't care. I don't care. You're batting cleanup. Until you get me a lineup that's structurally sound with players that are supposed to play those positions, this lefty-righty crap's out the window. Alec Bohm's not batting 4th. JT Rubino's not batting 8th either. That's where Bryson Stott will bat, which I think that might do him a world of good batting down there. He protects Crawford in a way. Well, I guess Turner protects him, but yeah, that's how I see it. Attaboy, Bryce. Yeah. MattyB, I feel it is also not smart for Bryce to wear the other team's cleats like he did last year. Listen, I also saw something. Yeah, when he wore the Mets things. He was wearing something today. Had green fur on it. It was like an elbow guard. I thought maybe I was seeing things, but woo. I know it's like Fanatic inspired, but god damn, man. Come on. What are we doing? What the hell are we doing, man? Oh, you like that? Yeah. I got a modest hat collection. I'm sober, not stoned tonight. Oh, good God. Thank you, Papernick. Yes, it was the line of the night. Wow. You were fine last night, Papernick. You don't got to air. Papernick, this is not the end of the season press conference of the Phillies. You don't got to air out our business here, man. I got it. I got you. MattyB, I agree about Painter. It's not going to be the number 1 pitcher in MLB right away, but maybe he could be. As long as he's good, then I feel good. Yeah, I need him to be a 5. he needs to be a 5 pitcher for me, Bruce, right? He needs to pitch about 5 innings a week, keep the team in the games, develop some swag about him, right? That's all he needs to be for me. I'm number 5 starter right now. And I don't even need him in a starting role in the postseason. Nope. He come out of the bullpen. I just need him to be a 5. Now, if he develops beyond that, great. But if he doesn't, great. I don't need him to right now. Next year I do, but not right now. Number one problem we have is Thompson, and I feel he's not good. And it's interesting that you say Thompson, and I'm not a Rob Thompson guy. I would be totally fine if I woke up tomorrow and found out that he wasn't here, right? I'm not. And I know there's been a lot, especially recently, with this drama with Castellanos coming out, Harper, and sort of the attitudes and the way people sort of present themselves within that clubhouse. And yeah, and not to mention that, but there's also the in-game stuff that we've all come accustomed to with Rob Thompson. Just the stubbornness in a lot of areas that just make no sense at all. Bruce, here's the thing, and again, I don't know if we're looking at a situation like 2022, and I hope we're not. I don't want to go through that. But obviously, Don Mattingly's here as a safety net to perhaps make a move. And again, and I don't think Rob Thompson's a stupid man. I think he knows why Don Mattingly's here. Just like I think Nick Sirianni knows why Sean Mannion's there, which I don't know what that tells us about the stability of our organizations. But I do feel that if things, let's just say I feel that Thompson's going to be on a very short leash. And if we do enter into like late May, scuffling a bit, 7-8 games under 500, or I should say maybe at 500 or right below that, 5, 6, 7 games out of first, 4 or 5 games out of the wild card, something in that area, and things are just sort of kind of clunking along, I think they make a move similar to that they did in 22. Now, I don't know if the grass will be greener, though. I don't know how much damage Rob Thompson has sort of created with this team when it comes to privilege and entitlement. And I don't know how Don Mattingly is going to deal with the attitudes of a Bryce Harper and a Kyle Schwarber and so on and so forth. So I don't know if the grass will be greener, but obviously you're going to have to sway the pendulum back the other way to the old school kind of guy to sort of get things under control if there's a problem. Now with Castellanos out of the equation, do things change? Is there more of a in-tuned clubhouse? Are they snapping to a little bit more, or is Bryce Harper just as bad and Kyle Schwarber just as bad as Castellanos was? I don't know. I'm not inside that building. I can't answer that question, but there's been a real tepid response from Castellanos' departure from the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber made a real weird sort of kind of whatever, message the other day, not necessarily jumping on board and saying, we're going to miss him and blah, blah. Hey, good luck. Didn't work out. So I don't know. Maybe there's more to this Castellanos thing that we don't know. And maybe him being gone is a big piece of that. But obviously, Thompson is an issue. Bingo. What's up, Ryan? Yeah, there are. We'll get to the phone lines in a minute. Agree with you again, as always, but the lineup and structure and where to bat them. Yeah, again, Ryan, until you can give me a lineup that actually has a number a 2-hitter, right? Some guy that's what they are. I don't give a damn about lefty righty at this point. And I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to, squeeze blood out of a stone when it comes to this lineup. Hey, boom. You're batting second because you make contact with the baseball. Hey, Schwarber, you're batting fourth because you're a goddamn cleanup hitter. And so on and so forth down the way. I'm not doing lefty righty. Nah, I'm not doing that no more. Because it doesn't work. Not with this group. And I guarantee you'd be better off or just about the same doing it that way than you are trying to do it lefty righty. So I don't want to do all that. All right, let's segue a bit. Let's get the phone lines open. You guys know the drill. I'm going to drop the link. By the way, a little technical update. X is having a problem with live streaming right now. I just got the notification. It's not appearing in the main page. It hasn't been doing that for a few nights now, like almost a week actually. But X is working on it. So if you're tuned into X, you have to click on the. You'll see our icon there at the top of the page. It's circled red and it says live. You got to click on that to get to the live stream. It's not showing up on the main page. X is aware of the problem and they're fixing it. So I'm going to drop the link into our chat. If you guys want to get up, if you want to hop in, you can. That's why I'm on here. Is he saying same with Facebook? Yeah. So, well, Facebook's a goddamn crapshoot every night anyway. I think he was an annoyance, and like him or not becomes a factor in wins and losses. You know what? I was really pissed off when I heard about the whole Castellanos thing. Not the beard. We all know the beard thing was a grown man tantrum walking out there. Oh, I'm sit here with a beard because you pulled me out of the game. That was a grown man tantrum. You know what really pissed me off when I heard what I heard was during the playoffs. I don't know what year it was. If it was last year or the year before that, or even 23. That Liam was up there taking batting practice while the players were waiting for him to get out of the cage. Pre-game, right before the game, the afternoon of a game. Game was at night, and the afternoon when they're out there taking BP. Liam was out there taking swings while JT Realmuto was standing off to the side waiting to get inside the cage. That's unacceptable, man. And I don't know if Rob Thompson was aware of that. I don't know if the other management coaches were aware of that, but that's unacceptable. There's a time and a place for all that crap, and that ain't it. And I don't know how accurate that report is. I don't know how. I don't know any of that. But that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. That was happening, and that's an issue. And again, it's not all on Castellanos either. It's on Thompson. It's on the other coaches to allow stuff like that to happen. But that's absolutely dreadful. And speaking of a real world situation, I do want to pause. I don't know if you guys saw this, but so President's Day weekend, for those of you that are not aware of this, it's a huge weekend of youth hockey around America. It's a big tournament weekend, obviously with the day off on Monday. And a lot of places around America will have youth hockey tournaments. And there was an incident up in Rhode Island today at one of these games where a guy shot and killed his wife and kids and then himself in the stands of one of these games. And there's video out there circulating. If you guys want to take a look at this, just absolutely dreadful. And being a hockey ref, I didn't work much hockey at all. I didn't work at any of it this year, but I've worked that building in Rhode Island. I've been in that building before. I've done games on that ice. And, unfortunately, in the back of my mind, when I work these games, and even as an umpire, I'm always thinking, it's just a matter of time, man, right? For something like this seeps into these things. And today it happened, and prayers, of course, to the family involved, prayers to the people that were at the stadium, the kids playing. It was absolutely chaos. And you know what? I don't want to make any judgments about the referees, but they were the first off the ice, which to me, there is no protocol to that in USA hockey of how to deal with a situation like that. I'm sure there will be now, but there was no protocol to that. But they were the first off the ice, which I disagree with. They should have been directing the kids at least of where to go. And these kids were barreling over the boards. First, they all hit the ground. Then everyone's jumping over the boards, skating towards the exit. But the rest were the first off the ice. I don't want to pass judgment on them or anything like that. But come on. I know what I would have done if I was there. But yeah, a horrific event that occurred in Rhode Island today, and it's a shame to see that bleed into youth sports. So all thoughts and prayers to the families of everybody affected today. Terrible tragedy at a youth hockey tournament game in Rhode Island this afternoon. So just absolutely dreadful. As long as the buffoon is managing, Schwarber will never bat below 2. Yeah, you might be right. Absolutely, Michael Papernik. Again, I've worked a lot of these games, and I don't think it had anything to do with what was happening on the ice. Apparently, there was some it was labeled as a domestic violence incident. So, I mean, what are we doing with ourselves in this society? I mean, what are we doing? But as far as I know, all the players did get off the ice. All the officials got off the ice. The coaches got off the ice. The scorekeepers, all those people got off the ice. And nobody was hurt up in the stands except for the people that were unfortunately involved in the incident. But what the hell are we doing with this society, man? Joe Al joins us. Joe, what's going on?
How are you?
Doing well, Joe. How about you?
I heard something on the radio. I'm going to shout out 97.5 The Fanatic. Ricky Bo said it perfectly that the Phillies lineup is in disarray because nobody knows where they're batting at.
It's been like that since 2022, though.
No. You're going to, but no, it hasn't. But what he's talking about Schwarber this year and Garcia, basically. Okay. And then he said if he would make the Phillies lineup this year, he would have put Crawford first and Garcia 7th, JT 6th. I kind of question why. And I'm going to give you another news update. Who was it? Joe Giulia on 94. And your buddy.
Kyle?
No, the other one, Jack Fritz.
Oh, Jack Fritz. You got to be more specific. I'm pretty tuned in to 90 now.
Said he expects Zach Wheeler to only miss 3 starts.
That's about a month, right? That's about right. I mean, that's
somebody said 6 weeks,
which is 2 starts, right?
Yes.
I mean, I can live with that. I can live with 3 starts. Honestly, I need him. I need him to be Zach Wheeler down the stretch of the season, right? Like July on that's when I need Zach Wheeler for real. I mean, if we're really going to boil it down, I need Zach Wheeler to be Zach Wheeler starting in July, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to shout out your buddy's not feeling good.
Ricky?
Yeah. He's suffering right now, really, really.
Thoughts and prayers to Ricky deal. Is it complications due to what happened to him earlier?
No, he's not eating. It's his medicine and it's making him very, very sick and he's not eating.
Hopefully he gets to a doctor and they can regulate that or change that.
He's been sleeping all day and won't get up out of bed. But I watched the Olympics today. I didn't watch the women because I had to work. I watched curling. What's your thoughts on curling? I know it's a stupid question.
Well, the Canadians are cheating. I guess that's just the popular. Other than that, Joe, I don't know, man. They're pushing a rock down the ice, man. I mean,
hey, I think it's cool to watch. And
what's that?
I think it's cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not cool, but what's been really cool, it's like the chillest, like calmest sport ever, but they're arguing because the Canadians are cheating. That was fun. That's what they got to incorporate more of that, and maybe they'll get more people into the sport. But I don't know, Joe. I don't even understand it. Are you supposed to get the stone in the middle? Is that what the object is and push everybody out?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Team USA men's play tomorrow, am I right?
Wednesday. They play Wednesday against the winner of Sweden or Latvia.
So it looks like the girls, it's going to be Canada, USA in the gold medal game.
As it should.
But we already saw what happened already when they put up 6. Can they put up 8?
I think so. Yeah. I got more faith in the women's winning the gold than I do the men's, honestly.
And the Eagles have a new quarterback coach in Press Taylor. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Wait, no. When did that happen?
Today.
They brought Press Taylor back?
Yes.
Oh, come on, man.
I believe it.
Now you're yanking my lariat. There's no way.
It's somebody that was on the Colts staff.
Wait a second. So it's not V. Yeah. Yeah, he was. He's. Hang on, man. It's Press Taylor, but I don't see anything about him coming to the Eagles.
Quarterback coach.
1 week ago, he was promoted by the Bears to offensive coordinator.
I don't know. They said there's 2 Press Taylors.
Okay, let me look.
Because it was announced today.
Hang on. I'm only seeing the one Press Taylor, but
yeah, if I can find it, he was on Shane Steichen's staff in Indy.
I would have if I would have seen that, I would have noticed that. But
I'll find it.
I hope not. I hope that's not true. All right, Joe. Listen, anything else, man?
Sixers made a move.
I saw that they what they do? They signed someone to a 2-year contract.
No, they signed somebody else too.
Yeah, they brought somebody on the buyout thing, right?
Yep. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's all window dressing. They're gunning up for this summer's draft, man.
No, they're not.
I think they are. They're not getting any further than the first round, second round. Come on, man.
Okay.
All right, Joe. Tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. Joe Hale, my main man. My main man. Press Taylor. Come on. I would have seen that. That would have definitely sent the little radars going off. I have not seen that. Now, maybe he's right. The only thing I see about Press Taylor is he got promoted a week ago to offensive coordinator for the Bears. Maybe he's taking a page. Maybe he's taking a position. Maybe he's coming back here as a revenge thing. You know, hell with the offensive coordinator job. I want to be the quarterback's coach for the Eagles again. I want to repair that damage, but I'm not seeing that. I hope that's not true. Oh, man. Walker Buehler is now a former Philly. I saw Walker Buehler, Jose. He signed with the Padres. Yeah. Can I imagine? Can you imagine me, Wee Wheeler, in postseason? Yeah. Wee Wheeler? Yeah, I mean, that's what I want. That's why I want vintage Wheeler in the postseason. That's what I really need him for. Italian women's single luge is a must watch. Those got some booty action. Yeah. I saw the Italians won a gold yesterday in the biathlon. Now, that thing is pretty intense. Cross-country skiing, then you stop. There's like, 4 laps? You cross-country, and you stop, and you got to shoot targets. Then you get up, and you go off, and you cross-country ski again, do another lap, come back, do targets from the kneeling position. You go from kneeling, prone, sitting, or something like that, and then you continue on with the cross-country skiing. And that's hardcore right there, man. I we can talk hockey all you want. You can talk about skiing and snowboarding and doing the half pipes, but when you're cross-country skiing and then you got to stop, instantly get into settle your body down, settle your breathing down, and then engage targets at about 50 yards away, and hit them, and then get back up and then go off again and cross-country ski around. That's hardcore. And the Italians won the gold yesterday in the women's event. But Al's apparently watching sports for some sort of sexual gratification. So whatever floats your boat there, Al. Pervert. Press Taylor's with the Bears. He is. Parks Frazier. Is that the Eagles? Parks Frazier. Who's that? Is that the Eagles quarterback's coach? I don't know. I'm waiting for the official press releases. Yeah, okay. Parks Frazier. Parks Frazier is the new Eagles quarterback coach. Yep. But he's internal, though. He was the passing game coordinator. Now he's going to be the quarterback's coach. Okay. So Parks Frazier, Press Taylor. I can see where he made the mistake. Parks Frazier is your quarterback's coach. Joe Hale. Barbara, great to see you. Oh my God, I'm so not into the Olympics. I watch some hockey, but it is, Barbara. But here's one thing from a suffering Flyers fan standpoint. I talked about this last night. And to watch Team USA over the past 3 nights have been absolutely a pleasure because of just one thing. To know that good hockey, to know that a hockey team that I'm rooting for and that I am actually invested in and that I actually feel emotion towards, which is, of course, Team USA, is actually good and can actually play elite level hockey. I was sitting there over the last 3 nights watching this team and thinking to myself, wow, this is how good it can be. I've forgotten that it's not the labored product that I've been watching for the Flyers over the past 4 or 5 years. It's not the hesitation of the Flyers. It's the miscommunication of the Flyers, the missed assignments of the Flyers, the hitting the crossbar of the Flyers. No, this is a team of elite level athletes that know what the hell they're doing. And they make it look so fluid. They make it look so good. And they are so dominant at what they do. And that's what I guess the biggest takeaway from me watching Team USA and hockey, I should say, this Olympic cycle has been, is just to sit back and be in awe of how they play. And for a team that I'm emotionally invested in, because the other team that I'm emotionally invested in hasn't played like that in 10 years. And I've forgotten how good it can look. So I'm enjoying every single minute of the Chuck brothers. I'm enjoying every single minute of the Hughes brothers. I'm enjoying every single minute of great goaltending from Connor Hellebuck. I am enjoying every single minute of a lockdown penalty kill that doesn't let nothing through. I'm enjoying every single minute of elite level hockey, assisted coached by John Tortorella. So let that grab you for a minute too. That's what I am enjoying. And I get it. It is NHL quality players, and it also has me to the point where until we get one of those guys, I don't care which member of Team USA it is. I don't care until at least one of them is wearing orange and black. We are not going anywhere because that is what hockey's supposed to. That is championship level. That is Stanley Cup championship level. That is elite level hockey. And what we got here in this town is not. And until we can get one of those guys, and I don't care who, one of them, one of the current roster Team USA players come to the Flyers. I don't care which one. I'll take Hellebuck. Love that. Until one of them guys comes here, we ain't going anywhere. All right. So it's been a very enlightening, cathartic experience for me watching hockey this cycle. Do I think USA will beat Canada? I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's a must watch. 2:00 on Sunday afternoon is the gold medal game. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know who it's going to be, but all signs are pointing towards USA and Canada. I don't think that neither one of these teams are going to get sidetracked by anybody. And it'll be a hell of a game. It'll be a great game and a must watch event. Yeah, I think they can. But it's going to be what team can endure what and longest, because you're going to have wave after wave coming at you from both sides. USA is going to throw out their top lines. Then you're going to deal with Connor McDavid, and you're going to be dealing with the Canadians, and then they're going to come up the second line, which is featuring Quinn Hughes, and then on the other side is featuring Cole McCarr. It's going to be just elite after elite, and just back and forth, wave after wave. It's going to come down to the goaltending, and it's going to come down to who makes the mistake at what critical time in that game. And it's going to be an amazing game. US, they're more impressive than the men because obviously they're not professionals to the point that we know. They're more. I think they're a lot more impressive than the men, and I think they definitely win against Canada. Yeah, I don't know about that. What's going on, Papernick?
Yeah, what up, Matty?
How you feeling, man?
Well, I feel great. But so the Sixers signed Cameron Payne.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just saw it. I'm like, you gotta be. What's like? I think Chris Paul was out there different, and they signed Cameron Payne. Like, seriously? They're second round. They're out. They're knocked out.
I'm telling you, they're gearing up for a run this summer with draft picks. They're gearing up for it's going to be a very deep draft. They're trying to get younger, and I'm okay with that. I think they got to get rid of either what's his face, the two old guys. Embiid and what's the other guy's name? Paul George.
George.
They got to get rid of one of them too. Yeah, you got to get rid of one of them too. Bring in about 2 or 3 young high draft picks. I think they're gearing up for the future, which is fine, but that ain't this year. That's next year, you know?
Oh yeah, we know that. I mean, it's just bad. You know what I mean? Like they're bad. Now to get to the Phillies, you know, I'm just so tired of talking about that team. You know, the bumbling manager, and the Sixers are the only organization right now that is stable. And I can't believe I'm saying that. You think about that one. I mean, you know.
Wow. Kaepernick off the top rope with that one, man.
I mean, just think about this. Daryl Morey. We're putting our faith in Daryl Morey this summer, and we all sound happy about it. I mean, this is breaking news.
It is. It's an extreme swing of the sports philosophical approach in Philadelphia. Daryl Morey has emerged from the muck as the beacon of light and hope for Philadelphia sports. Look, I fire his ass. I go get the guy Bob, whatever his name was, who helped Golden State, helped create Golden State, win them championships. He's out there. He's not an analyst. Bring him in. I mean, at least he's won a couple titles. He knows how to build a team. I mean, and you know what the funny part is? Josh Harris is friends with that guy because he brought him in during the with the Commanders or something to help with their draft when they got Jaden McDaniels. So this guy knows a little bit. You know what I mean? He's a pretty smart guy. Josh Harris has got bigger problems these days to deal with.
No, I get that part. What I'm saying is but he's putting all his eggs in the Morey, who's just like it's like he's just getting lucky. You know, when's that luck going to run out? I mean, he blew with his man crush with Jay, you know, holding on to Ben Simmons and for Harden. Yeah. I mean, it's just a list of all the stuff he's screwed up. So I have no faith. Look, I have faith that the organization is going well, but no faith in him.
That's a weird way to look at it, man. Because I mean, he is. So you're not telling me your faith is in Elton Brand, is it? Because he's the other one. He's like the one lower than Daryl Moore. I guess I think it's still Elton Brand. I don't know if he still actually works there. But he's the GM,
stealing money. He ain't doing nothing.
Exactly. He's got the best job in the world, man. The best job in the world is Elton Brand. He's got it made. He doesn't do anything. He gets paid millions of dollars.
You don't have to do nothing. Now I heard you talking about Wheeler. So he's going to miss what, 2-3 starts by the end of May?
You know, if it's the end of May, it's about 3 to 4, right? 3 to 4 starts. You would think if that lines up correctly, yeah, I would say.
And then I saw this thing they showed. John Clark was saying that Garcia. Did you see this guy? Yo, that dude
ripped.
is
ripped. Pretty ripped.
Yeah. I wonder when the 80 games is coming.
Yeah, I thought that too. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Yeah, I thought that too.
But here's the thing with that. Here's the thing with this. Baseball players, if they're not doing, because they don't test for HGH, I don't think in the major leagues. I think they test it in the minors. Man, if these dudes get popped with a steroid in them, it should be the dummy rule. They should be just banned from baseball for being dummies for something that's going to come out when you take a piss. I mean, if they ain't allowed blood tests, take HGH.
Yeah, no, I agree. But they got what is it? The first offense is like a 30-game suspension. The second one is the 80 game. And then the third one, I think, is the year. And then the fourth one is a ban. They give them so many chances.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny. They'll give them only 4 chances, but you can do all the crack you want in coke, and they can go to rehab 40 times. Just go ask Dwight Gooden and Steve Howe.
Yeah.
How many times they've been to rehab? I mean, they didn't get banned from baseball.
Different.
They didn't get what? But to get what? But yeah. Now it's just I don't know. I'm just worried I'm worried this team's just in trouble. And it wasn't for, like I said last night, if it wasn't for the Mets injuries, they wouldn't even be in second place. But then I just seen this article that the Phillies are basically a World Series team or bust. Well, I knew.
Pepper, that's interesting. Do you feel that way? Do you still feel that way?
Talent-wise, they are on paper. Do I feel that way? No.
So what's a successful season for Michael Kaepernick for the Phillies in 26?
They should go out. Put it like this: they should go out and win that division. They have the talent to do it. I mean, you don't have to win the division anymore.
Your expectations are not. So you're not a World Series. You're not gearing up for. Like you're not sitting there saying if they don't win a World Series.
No, I don't think they are. No.
Now, okay. With that being said, if they don't win the World Series, and I know this has become a broken record question too. Is it time now finally to start real changes? Obviously, Rob Thompson would have to go. Dombrowski would probably have to go, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, are they going to make any changes with the CBA? That's the problem. Yeah. We might have Robbie for another year. I mean, there'll be some way to keep that bumbling buffoon around. I mean, this dude's got more lives than my brother-in-law who's died 3 times. I mean, he's still alive. I mean, this dude just survives everything. He's like a cockroach. I mean, that's why I said if George Steinbrenner owned the Philadelphia Phillies, this dude would have been fired probably right after the World Series loss because he blew the World Series for the Phillies. He probably would have fired him. I know he would have. Did you read about the I sent you that thing? Did you read that about the championship game? What happened when the Phillies jumped? They were up 3-2, and they were all basically, celebrating, and they lost that final 2 games against Independent to the Arizona. No. Yeah, I sent you it over Messenger. Yeah, you got to read it. The article I sent you.
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, and I get it. It has Castellanos in there too, but man, it's like everybody's just trying to push all the stuff on him and redeflect off of Robbie, who can't manage a wet paper bag. So. I mean,
well,
I said last night,
the reception or the reaction, at least at the media level, when it comes to the players, not having Castellanos on the team, didn't really move me to the point where they were like, "Oh my God, we're doomed." We lost a great asset, and how are we going to go on without him? I wasn't expecting them to cry about it or anything, but there was a real tepid, okay, well, I hope hope a fresh start's good for him. It was almost as though they were feeling a sense of relief too. I kind of got that. I don't know if you got that or if anybody else has, but that's kind of what I got.
Well, I didn't see it, but I'm assuming in general they probably don't want to deal with the circus that came with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I get it. Look. A beer, whatever, blah blah blah. Did he say whatever happened? We don't know. There's the A and F and everything in the truths in the middle, but. Look, I can only do the eye test. Matt Strom ain't on this team, and he ain't on this team. What do they both have in common? They called out the Phillies.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I didn't hear nothing bad about Matt Strom bringing a beer into the. He just called out the Phillies. That's all he did. He called out the moves that they were making, the non-moves that the manager can't make, and.
Now, since Matt Strom got traded, he actually had an interview at one point when he first got traded, and he said, "Listen, he didn't necessarily say that that's why he got traded because of what he said, but he said he's always been like that. He speaks his mind. Now, to his to his knowledge, he didn't piss anybody off about it, but he's always been sort of like that in that clubhouse. That he loved being in Philadelphia, he loved the teammates, he loved the Phillies, but he's never sat back and not spoken his mind. I remember seeing that right after, and it's out there on YouTube somewhere, but I remember seeing that right after he got traded. So again, you there might be something to what you're saying, that they don't like those types of personalities. I don't know. Or maybe they don't like personalities that come off a little bit entitled. Like, I don't know if Matt Strom did, but I'm getting the vibe that Castellanos came off like he was a superstar athlete and was demanding to be treated that way.
Well, I mean, I'll still go back to what I said. I saw the interview with Matt Strom. Well, you can't speak up. You can't say there's preferential treatment to everybody, different for every players. Oh, that's right. Because it's gonna hurt Bryce's feelings. It's gonna hurt Schwarber's feelings. It's gonna hurt Bryce's. You know what? It's just going back to Bryce. He's the captain, and he didn't. Maybe he did behind closed doors. I don't know. But he can wear the showman stuff. I don't know where that came. I've said this before. He can do all this stuff. He can do all that stuff. I just want some. You have to, Rob. You're going to have to research this and find out who came up with the showman, him or somebody. Because
I'm sure it was him.
Well, there you go. Then what's that tell you? That's a little diva.
His people. Yeah.
They all well in general, they all got a little diva in them. I mean, but
of course.
Did Castellanos come off? Maybe I don't. I mean, if he came off like that, why didn't they stop it 4 years ago or 3 years ago when he came?
And that's That's part of the story that no one's really talking about is Rob Thompson and Joe Girardi. He was kind of involved in the beginning there. How do they allow it to get to this point? It's their dugout, their clubhouse, their locker room. How did they allow, if it was as bad as they're saying with Castellanos' entitlement? And again, I quoted the thing that I read yesterday, that during the playoffs, JT Realmuto was waiting to get in the batting cage while Liam Castellanos is taking swings. What the hell are we doing here, man? Why is that kid taking practice? And you got JT standing there waiting to get in the cage? Come on, man. The playoffs? That's terrible.
That is. I mean, and JT should have spoke up. He should have been. He should have went over to Nick and said, "Nick, come on, man, I got to get in here. You got to get him out." Now, I mean, but again, I mean, I don't. How's this? Where's Dombrowski and all this? I'm sure he's at the game.
Yeah.
Why ain't he down there saying something to him? Robbie. This is okay. We all know, look, it takes two to dance. So Castellanos isn't all like scot-free on this. But Robbie created the culture of this by treating everybody differently.
Absolutely.
And I've said this before. Once you see the first person, whether it's a star or non-star on the team, get treated different, a certain way, and the person sitting there at the end of the day, I can do that now. And that's what they do. I can do. Schwarber in the article. I say it all the time. I repeat. He said in an article, I don't have a problem batting fourth, but I prefer to bat first. Well, you can't have both ways, Kyle. Well, just come out and say, look, I don't ever want to bat fourth in this lineup. And he don't. And you think it's going to change with Mattingly here? It's going to be a mess. I'm telling you, because Robbie ain't going to know. Robbie, it's just going to be bad because you got the way this lineup, and if they put Baum fourth and Garcia fifth, that's even worse. Because Garcia was brought here to be the number 4. They put JT 4, that's even worse. Garcia is your number 4 here in this lineup outside of Schwarber. He has to be. If they don't do it, and they put them, it's just done. It's just this line's toast anyway. I mean, you're running out the same players. They're 80 years old. It's just the Mets are going to get healthy this year. I mean, not the Mets, the Braves are going to get healthy. The Dodgers are probably going to win the World Series again. Probably going to get Skubal and Paul Skeen or somebody. Phillies are just in trouble, man. And it's just going to keep going down, down, down. I mean, like I said to you last night, it's just a matter of time before Harper starts crying for more money or be traded. That's all he's done since he's been here, is cry for more money. I want this. I want money. I want money. I want money. What the dude? Go give me another 100 yards. Yeah. How's this sound? Let me know when you're the star again of this team.
Yeah,
because you ain't been the star.
Here's something also to think about, and I know everyone gravitates to the Bryce Harper less than 100 RBI season, right? And that's a huge factor. But when the guy batting in front of you, driven in 132 runs and knocks in 58 homers or whatever he had, 56, 58 homers, how many runs can Bryce Harper really drive in when Kyle Schwarber batting ahead of him is clearing the base pads for him? You know what I mean? And yes. Again, it's a testament to the way the lineup is structured. It honestly is.
Yeah, but Schwarber wasn't banging. These last 2 years where it's only 100-yard year, he'd have this ain't his third year.
I'm just saying from last season when he had 79, it was a career low in RBIs, like 79 or something like that. You know, there is something to that though. Schwarber had 132 RBIs batting ahead of Harper. I mean, Harper's only had 200 RBI seasons in his career. Washington here, that's it. Right. So that's what I don't. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And no, you're right, but I'm just saying
when he does.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking away from that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. It's just that when you got a guy that's ahead of you batting the way, and Schwarber was, clearing bases left and right. He was driving in runs left and right. Okay. And Harper was right behind him, and he got what he had to get. And he dealt with some injuries too. I'm not taking up for Bryce Harper. I think he's been largely a bust since he's been here. And I'm not saying Manny Machado would have been better, but he might have been. But again, it's a testament to the way the lineup is. It's a testament to perhaps what you're saying about catering to these players and telling them where they, them telling Rob where they want to bat in the lineup, not where it means most sense to the team, but where it means more sense to the player. It's testament to all of that. And it's a serious problem. And it's held the Phillies back, I think. It has.
Well, here you go. So I would say Bryce is probably if he's not the leader, he's one of the leaders. So why don't he just go to Robbie and say, listen, Robbie, the problem is, he's getting old. Why don't you bang me down the 4th or 5th in this lineup? Whatever. Figure it out. I don't know. Get him down a little lower so he can get some runs, get some RBIs. I ain't saying he's now. Here's something I got to tell you. I didn't know this. I copied it today. This will be what I'll leave you with this. This was one. I took the photocopy of for Harper. So listen to this. So, here we go. Harper's 35.6% chase rate. This is chasing. In 2025 was the highest it has been since 2022, since recording a chase rate of 24.8 in his MVP season in 2021. Okay. Harper has consistently chased out of the zone over 30% of the time. Now that Nick Castellanos is no longer on the Phillies, Harper, along with new free agents signing Adolis, are the biggest chasers in the Phillies' projected opening lineup. Now, how does he go from 24% all the way up to 35%?
Yeah, that's again, I'm not taking up for him. I just tried to back him up with 100 RBI. I know, but you're right.
I'm not saying you are.
He's got terrible. Listen, he's an enigma. You're absolutely right. I've never seen. You can see it in his eyes when he gets up at the plate what he wants to do, and if I can see it on TV what he wants to do, the pitcher standing 90 feet from him can see what he wants to do. He's got those big eyes. He's looking for something to hit and drive, and he's telegraphing his at bats before he steps in the box, and it's such a goddamn. It's embarrassing to watch him at times. You're 100% correct.
I want to ask you a question. Okay, so if their careers are kind of similar, Trout and him, if you look at the numbers, they're not too much difference. There really isn't much. Who do you think had a better career, Mike Trout or Bryce Harper?
Trout. Well, Trout's had a lot more injury problems, and I think that's what's sort of the stain on his career. You're right; the numbers are similar. Probably if Trout hadn't been hurt, it would be Mike Trout.
Yeah, he was the face of baseball for a long time.
Yeah, he was. His injuries just one after another. He couldn't play a whole season. I guess But as the way it has worked out, it's Harper right now. But and Trout made a statement today. He's going back to center field this year. So I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they would put him back out there, but he's going back to center field. All right, Pappernick.
Well, they probably. Hey, you have a good night, Matty. I'll be with you tomorrow night.
Always good as ever, man. All right, Michael Pappernick, my man. Barbara says, so by cutting Casty, the Phillies are going to win the World Series, and Harper's going to hit 40 homers. Yeah, probably. And then we'll know what the problem was all along. Bob Myers built the Warriors. The owner did. Elton Brand. End of May would be 8 starts. Okay, so sorry, Barbara, pull out the calendar on me. All right, so the end of April, that's 4. The end of May is 8. Okay, so I say 6 starts, mid-May. Let me go with mid-May. Nola choked against Arizona in the World Series against the Astros. Nola did choke in the actually, I want to double down on that that last statement. He's choked against the Padres in the NLCS. He was great in the first 2 rounds. That wild card game 2 against the Cardinals in 22, Nola was unhittable. And they win the game like 1-0. And Nola was throwing a masterpiece, but then from the NLCS on, he was terrible. And then the same thing in Arizona, in 23. That's what I got. Bryce Harper runs the Phillies. He does. They created the monster by allowing it to go the first few years, and they had to slay the monster. So you're saying that the monster is Nick Castellanos. Again, the monster could be Rafael Marchand for all we know. We're all this stuff that's coming out that's new to us is secondhand to these guys. They've been living with it for 4 years. But I'm getting a very tepid response from the Phillies players in response to Nick Castellanos being moved along. There wasn't a much emotion in either Bryce Harper or Kyle Schwarber when asked about him. It was, fresh start, maybe do him good. I mean, how bad was this guy? How divisive was he? I know there was reports he isolated himself towards the end of last season. He stopped kind of hanging out with the guys and was doing his own thing. How bad was this guy? They are Dr. Frankenstein. Matty Soto had 110 RBIs in the Polar Bear hitting. Again, I understand that, Barbara. I'm just pointing out something. That's all. And then Pappernick hit me with the 35% chase rate. Listen, I'm just saying to sort of strengthen my narrative of the unbalanced, unstructured Phillies lineup, when you're not able to sort of balance things out, maybe you got to do something and get Schwarber out of that 3 hole to give Harper, or Schwarber out of the 2 hole to get Harper some opportunities in that 3 hole. I'm not taking up for him. Harper. I'm not. I got it. He's been largely a disappointment. He has. 100%. And if I could get off of Harper, we talked about this last year. If I had an opportunity, a feasible opportunity to get off of Harper, I would do it. I would absolutely do it. If I could trade Bryce Harper today for Paul Skeens, I would do it. I would drive him across town to wherever the Pirates have their spring training. All right? Absolutely. 100%. If I could do that. In a heartbeat. Harper at least saw the postseason. What's that mean? What's that mean? At least he saw the postseason. All right. We are about hour 15 minutes in. I do want to transition to the Eagles real fast because I want to continue on with our retrospective, our in-depth 30 for 30, if you will, coverage of the Eagles offseason. We started this thing a few weeks back by talking about the top storylines by position group of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2025. We broke down the offensive line and the quarterback rooms. Now we're going to hit into the very secret world of the wide receiver group. What were the top storylines in 2025 of the Philadelphia Eagle wide receiver room? Yeah, I do it in a heartbeat. So let's get it up there. Here it is. And here we go. Oh, that's the offensive line. It's not the top storylines. Here's the wide receivers. Here we go. We got 3 storylines to talk about. Number 1, of course, by a long shot, A.J. Brown. Is A.J. Brown elite or is A.J. Brown a distraction? Get out. Get your ass backstage. Man. I didn't bring you on. Is A.J. Brown elite or is A.J. Brown a distraction? Storyline number 2, Devontae Smith, the quiet backbone. Really the guy that doesn't get any credit. Not a thing. And just goes about his work like a superstar that he is. And then beyond Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, what do we get from the rest? So there's your top 3 storylines. And can you hear me? Unmute yourself. Can you do it?
Yes.
All right. Big Al joining me.
I'm Al from Delco. I'm just calling in. I saw that the phone line's open, and I'm calling in.
Yeah, but see, the phone lines doesn't mean you jump right into the main studio.
Well, that's a StreamYard thing, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. All right. Big Al from Delco. We're talking top storylines of the wide receiver room of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2025. A.J. Brown, elite or distraction. Devontae Smith, the quiet backbone. And beyond the stars, what else do they have? What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I think 2 things can be right in this scenario. A.J. Brown can be elite and a distraction. I mean, the problem with him is that when he's in his feels, he's in his feels. But when he's at his top, he's the top of his game. And the problem is, has he gotten a little jaded a little bit? I mean, he came from the Titans. I think he forgets that with the whatever he was dealing with. And I think he's a little jaded to the fact of he's even last year and all the flaws of last year, him and Devontae still hit a 1,000-yard mark. That means if they had even a little bit better year, they're 1,200, 1,500 easily in that range. So I think 2 things can be right in this situation. He is a distraction at times, but when he is at the top of his game, there's not much better out there at this moment.
What about Devontae Smith? Right?
Oh, sure hands. Nobody's bigger Devontae. I'm not. If I go out and buy a jersey or a jersey, of course I'm always buying a lineman or a defensive lineman or the big guy jerseys. I always say, but he's one of the first jerseys that I went and bought because he plays like a big man.
If you had the chance to get off of A.J. Brown, but just invest your entire wide receiver position in Devontae Smith clones, would you do it?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, so would
I. I mean, he can get up. He can get up for a jump ball. He can bully his way through 3 or 4 defenders. He rarely drops anything. I've seen him make some juggle catches, one-hand catches. So yeah, I mean, he is what a coach wants in a player. Physical, does what he's told. You don't ever hear him about complaining. He could get 0 targets in 10 games and you'll never hear a peep out of him.
He's team first mentality. He is always reliable and he's overlooked, but he's clutch when he needs to be.
Now, the one question you can have is he open because of AJ's taking the heat off of him? Because when you have 2 superstar wide receivers, it's, somebody's going to get targeted more. It's just that I feel at times this season, the Eagles went out of their way to deal with the kind of I'm not getting enough targets mentality from A.J. Brown. And it's funny if you see, especially towards the end of the season, I've said this to you before, when they did target him, they lost games. When AJ's getting his targets and getting his yardage and touchdowns and all that statistical stuff that he loves so much, they were losing those games when they were spreading the ball out. They were winning the games.
Yeah, it's a definite issue that, and that also, and Jalen Hurts is throwing. Is he hitting the windows quick enough? Is he hitting the progressions fast enough? All of that plays in it as well, right?
And I think a lot of it. Listen, it was kind of a crescendo effect with the offense this year. It's really hard to pinpoint chicken or egg situation. Was it the O-line putting more pressure on Jalen to get the ball out quicker, which is pressures any quarterback. I don't care if you're Tom Brady or Jalen Hurts. Is it the a little bit of the curmudgeon in AJ Brown causing some issues with Jalen just having a really not great year? There's or all the above. All can be true at the same time once again. So it's really hard to pinpoint in my eyes what the number one overall problem is. Now I can see Barb said here Jalen's the problem. I'm always going to push back on that. I don't.
Oh, yeah, I know you will.
I'm not gonna sit there and say Jalen is perfect. No, I'm not saying that at all. He is far from perfect in any which way. But when Jalen's on his game, we know what he can do. I mean, we've seen him in 2 Super Bowls put up plenty of yardage and almost won us a Super Bowl when the defense let us down outside of the fumble. So he can, when he plays well, we know he can play well. But the O-line dealing with all those injuries. The Kevin Patullo, if I really had to put anything, it was on Nick and Kevin Patullo this year. If you said, I'll pinpoint the best you can to your ability, it is Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni, but I blame Nick more than Kevin Patullo in this sense. Because I told you before, what did I feel like this was? That was a hubris move. We have Jalen Hurts is great. AJ Brown's great. Devontae Smith's great. Our O-line is great. Our tight end is really good. Our running back is awesome. So you could call plays. You're my buddy. You could call plays. And I can help you. I mean, how hard can it be when our offense is so elite? Well, they found out that it's important. It's important in the NFL, especially when you're the last team to stop, one of the last 2 teams to stop playing football. So that means you have less rest. You're licking your wounds less than the other guys get a chance to. And now your offense is high school, maybe junior college at best, and it got exposed because you had a lot of people just throw the term out motion. There's no motioning. There was no pulling in the offensive line. The biggest thing, and we heard it from the offensive line, even doing all their injuries and doing all their during all their injuries and rotation of like of Cam Jurgens and Dickerson coming in and out of games like it was a carousel. You get the plays in with 3 seconds left, they can't diagnose the defense.
Huh.
And that showed big time.
It did. Now, beyond AJ, beyond Devontae, we got absolutely nothing from that wide receiver 3 position. Dotson was maybe underused a little bit in this offense. Maybe they couldn't find a way to work him in.
Well, when AJ's not getting his love,
yeah,
I mean, that means Devontae Smith's probably taking a hit. So that means Jahad Dodson's getting nothing. I mean, he's lucky he's even seeing the field at times.
And then the lack of development from the other, the Johnny Wilsons and the Anias Smiths of the world. I know that I think one of them was hurt or both of them were hurt. I don't really know. But beyond the A.J. Brown, beyond the Devontae Smith, as we look forward into 2026, and again, I get the whole we got to settle the question with A.J., but how important do you think it is for the Eagles, even if they decide to stay on with A.J.? They got to bring a little bit more talent into that room to supplement both those two, right?
So if AJ sticks around for this year, it's this year at most, I believe, because Howie is not going to, he's going to get him while he's worth something. And he's still elite. He's still young. Any teams, I don't see many teams turning their nose up to him. If you can afford him, they're going to take a shot at him. So I believe he's here one more year tops, if that at all. Like, I believe he's out of here. So, yeah, you have to prepare for the future one way or the other, in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree. Wide receiver room, AJ, Devontae, but nothing much after that. And Dotson's a free agent, and, probably the carousel will completely turn. Anything else you want to talk about, Al? You want to talk about something?
Well, I jumped on because I wanted to explain what I was saying because today I called in because not often do I say this, but I have agreed more often than not this evening with MattyB, and usually that means snowstorms or apocalyptic events are about to occur. But I wanted to talk about what I was saying about the Dr. Frankenstein thing. Okay. So the Phillies, when I say they created the monster, they knew they saw. Here's my thing is, Castellanos had a great year the year before he got here, and that was it. And they jumped on him. They paid him more than anybody else was willing to pay him. I read that Matt Gelb report about 4 or 5 times, and I've known Matt Gelb, and he's one of the few guys I feel has his pulse on in that locker room more than probably most reporters out there, nationally and locally. So I mean, listen, but I'm sure the Phillies will feed him information because it'll help them make themselves look better at times. So I take all that with consideration, but I think what happened is they knew they were dealing kind of like what we were just talking about with A.J. Brown. They knew they had a guy who had superstar potential. They paid him as such, and they knew they would have to deal with some of that superstar diva-ish, and they let him get away with it. But then when he wasn't performing to his $20 million a year tune, they slowly and surely, I think all of them, it started with probably upper management and then bled down to the locker room, to becoming annoying. Just like I think A.J. Brown can become a bit of a distraction in the locker room. Not to the point. He's not Terrell Owens, A.J., but it's enough that, like you said, I said the same thing when I did my show on Friday night. I clipped out the Kyle Schwarber interview that you were talking about, and he was. It's very simple. If you feel like, even if you felt like as Kyle, as a teammate, that Nick was done wrong, you would have said something along the lines of, I'm gonna, like you said, I'm gonna miss him. He brought a lot of energy to the locker room, whatever you want to say there. And it's gonna be hard to replace a guy in big shoes like that. But I do wish him the best. Yeah. We didn't get that. We didn't get that at all.
Well, change the scenery, maybe you'll do him good. I mean, that's what we got. We got no emotion at all.
And talk about a windfall for the Padres, right? I mean, we know Nick has at one point at least had the ability to be a really, really good hitter. So now you get to take a year flyer on him for league minimum, while your cross nation rivals pay the rest of the tab. This is a contract year for Nick, so he has to perform. He has to be a team player. He has a bone to pick and something to prove to the Phillies and the fans and everybody else and himself. So you're going to get the best effort of Nick Castellanos instead of this kind of laid back, I am a superstar and I earned it already without earning anything just because I had one really good year in Cincinnati. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. No, it poses a lot of questions about what was really going on inside that dugout and how bad things have gotten and all that. I agree. But as far as what you're saying about with San Diego, maybe it's, the grass is not always greener, and now he's going to try to have to learn a new position. I don't know if you saw the initial video of this. Nick Castellanos trying to learn how to play first base. They were doing a little ball drill with him out there. It looked like a baby giraffe trying to walk, man. I'm like, God damn, that looks awkward.
Well, he knew he was out there, and he was even campaigning. Hey, I'll play right field. Yeah, I'll play left field. I'll play first base. I'll wash your car for you.
Well, it's terrible out there doing that. Good luck with that. I agree.
Desperation. I mean, both sides. I mean, Nick and the Phillies. Dombrowski showing nothing but desperation in that situation with trying to get him, and that's why I unless a team really the only way I thought that anybody was trading, and I'm talking trading with the Phillies, maybe taking $5 million at best of his $20 million. That's me being generous. Was going to be Miami because of all the talk about these teams going to get slugged with a low, being too low under the salary cap,
having enough salary. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm kind of glad baseball's doing that. I feel like that's a little bit of an underappreciated thing because, I mean, especially if I'm from one of these, if I'm a Pirates fan or a Marlins fan or whatever, I'd be like, it's best for baseball, but it's best in their case, it's best for their team to be competitive for the first time in, I don't know, forever. 1997 was when the Marlins last were relevant.
Well, 2003.
Oh, 2003. I forgot about that.
They won a World Series that year, yeah.
Yeah, I don't count that. That's good.
You don't count the win against the Yankees as a relevant World Series
win?
I know. Yeah. No, you're right. But I'm not. Listen, I'm a big fan of the power of the people, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that we here in this town, and a real sports town. And yes, I'm going to throw shade against Miami and Pittsburgh and Denver.
I think they know.
But listen, we would not take that stand. There would be picketing. There would be protests out in front of Citizen Bank Park. Broad Street would be aligned with people with signs. It'd be a circus down there. We would force.
They'd be telling you to run the ball. They'll be telling you,
exactly. We would force the owner to sell or to spend, one or the other. We would do something about it. So I get what you're saying, but the fact that Major League Baseball's got to step in and implement something like that, shame on the fan bases for allowing that to happen.
Well, it just goes to show you, even in a weak market in a baseball or any team, when a team's bad, it shows you how much money they make. No, they're not making Yankees or Phillies or Dodgers or Cubs money, but you're still making a good chunk of money. And by bringing in guys who are either past their prime or not that good and paying them, maybe 2-3 times the league minimum, which is still not a lot of money, you're making money. You're still selling $8 sodas and $5 hot dogs.
$8 sodas, my ass, like $19 sodas, man.
Yeah.
$20
it comes in a designer cup, right?
Yeah, man. Man. All right, man. Listen, thanks for chiming in.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait to call in again.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to have you. All right. Next time, wait for me to bring you on stage, all right?
Well, listen, whenever you do it from your phone, I clicked on a link from my phone because I wasn't even like, I'm going to do it like everybody else does it. It just pulled me right up. I don't know why it does that, but have a good night.
I'm sure you don't got some sort of secret hotlines, secret code to go right in to break through.
And tell Barb I said hi. And tell Barb to chime in because I haven't heard from Barb in forever on Friday night. I need Barb's takes on Friday night. It makes my nights better.
Barb, you listening to that, Barb? You hear that? Barb, he needs you to Big Al does a show on the network at 9 p.m. on Fridays called the Philly Friday Frenzy. Here it is. It's all Al all the time on Friday nights at 9. Barb, he wants you to jump in. But he wants to start he wants to reconnect with you, Barb.
Love my Barb.
Make Al happy. All right, brother, we'll talk.
See you later.
All right, my man Al. All right, so let's get caught up here on a bunch of stuff. We are not going to do this card. We're not going to do the other night. We are run late. I got things I got to do tonight, man. I got to take a test. I got to pay $82 to a high school baseball association in the state of Alabama so I can work perfect games in Alabama next week. So I got some work to do. So Hurts is the problem, period. Listen, I don't want to. If I would have went down that road with him, Barb, we have a 3-hour phone call about that. I listen, Barb. I'm with you. Simpatico here on that. Hurts is the problem, and when you factor in AJ Brown to it, it's just a disaster. I agree. Hurts is not an elite quarterback, and he's an okay quarterback. Yeah, it's a frustratingly tiresome conversation. No, Hurts had plenty of time to throw. He threw the ball. He held the ball a lot. Didn't run. The offensive plays were the same no matter who called the plays because the quarterback limitations. Again, valid point that nothing ever came from that, right? And I know they're not going to tip their hand. Kevin Patullo, if he wants another job in the NFL, which he got down there in Miami, he's not going to go up on the take the victory tour and say, you know what, you want to cast judgment upon me about the way I called plays? Well, you should have been in the goddamn locker room and you should have been on the practice field dealing with number one. He's not going to say those things. Not yet, of course. Now, hopefully somebody files that away for 20 years from now or 15 years from now or 10 years from now, if it's a relevant point to even discuss, and ask a retired Kevin Patullo, how was it really to work with Jalen Hurts? Because you're right. I 100% believe that the offense was limited not in sole reasoning because of Jalen Hurts. I do think the offensive line and Saquon Barkley were a part of it. But Jalen's limitations were also part of it. And Jalen's limitations are not something indicative and new to 2025. It's been on display every year since 2022. It was the prime reason why we went downhill in 23. It was the prime reason that they went to a run-heavy rushing attack in 24 in order to offset the quarterback's ability to be responsible for having to win. They took a 2-2 team and they started handing off the ball, and Barkley did what he did. I 100% agree with you that there's a limitation problem But there's a limitation problem to a certain extent with everybody in every position and every player. But you're right. I want to know, and I think a lot of us want to know exactly what were the limitations on Jalen Hurts. Why were certain plays not called? Certain plays were not called enough. Certain things weren't done at all with this alleged elite quarterback. Hurts throws to tight ends instead of his number 3 wide receiver because he can't read the defense. Well, Hurts doesn't really generally throw the ball down the middle of the field anyway. When you look at number 3 wide receivers, and I didn't get a chance to add this in as we were evaluating the wide receiver top storylines of the year, but when you look at the wide receiver number 3 and you look at the tight ends, where is the majority of their operating area? Between the hash marks, right? Hurts completed 51 passes between the hash marks in 2025. That is up from 47 in 2024. So a significant improvement, but still a piss poor sample size of an NFL quarterback when trying to use all levels of the field. He doesn't go there. He doesn't throw the ball. And again, back to the limitations. Why? And I'm not being hateful. I want to know, why won't they let the man throw the ball to the middle of the field? Is it because he can't read defenses? Is it because he has a tendency to hold on to that ball too long? Is it because of all those things? Do they feel that they don't want to pressure him into that? Because that's a part of the field where you actually have to know how to be a quarterback in order to consistently complete balls. And they rather just take their chances down the sides with those 50-50s type passes. I mean, it does lend a lot into the discussion about the upgrade at wide receiver 3, and also to Al's discussion about the A.J. Brown, give me what I want. I got to get mine every game. Can they even afford, and not financially, but just afford to bring on a wide receiver 3 when they, 1, have to feed their elite wide receiver, and 2, they don't throw to the side of the field where a WR3 typically operates. Very interesting points. I agree with you. $20 million a year with only one left in the contract seems like a scapegoat situation. They handled that thing all wrong. Al Cassidy did have one pretty good year. Yeah, what was that? 23 made the All-Star team. Marlins invented it in 1994. Hiatus, many championship as the Phillies. Yeah, well, I didn't bring that up either. I didn't want to do that. The Marlins have 2 championships since 1993. Not 94. 93 was their first year. Marlins versus the Dodgers. Charlie Huff pitched for the Marlins. Opening day at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. ESPN, 12 o'clock. First broadcast of the season. Watched it in my parents' house when I was 20 years old. Never forget that game. It's a cool, to watch a brand new baseball team. Bye, Al. Yeah, please. Friday night at 9 is when Al does his show every week. I love baseball season. Don't forget. Oh, that's right. So sorry. That's right. Quez Watkins did sign a futures reserves contract just a few days ago, or last week, was it? You're right. No, my bad. Quez Watkins is back. See you later, Deshaun Dotson. We're fine. Well, that's the secret to unlocking the middle of the field. Quez Watkins. Oh man. I just go by memory, seldom Google. I just go by memory. I didn't look it up. I remember the game vividly. Marlins won it, by the way. Charlie Huff, the knuckleballer. Remember that game vividly. 1994 was the strike year. It was the strike year. Matter of fact, Philly's first game of the season in 1994 was in Colorado against the Rockies, the same team that Yeah, it was 94 against the Rockies. That was their opening game in 94. The Yankees probably would have won the World Series in 94 if it hadn't been for the strike. I firmly believe that. But yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I need Google. I live that stuff. All right. Listen, guys, I want to thank you for a great show. Barbara, welcome back. Al, thanks for chiming in. Joe, thanks for chiming in. Papernick, everybody that was a contributor tonight, I want to thank you. We did not get to the card. We did not get to the other night segment. Never fear, we will be back tomorrow for all of that goodness. Don't forget, once again, this is what's on tap for tomorrow on the network. You got the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight and the Final Word, basically a carbon copy of what you had today. So make sure you're checking us out. Check out social media. Check out YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, tell friends, and all that. Pass on the great word and help us grow. As we've grown a lot since Christmas. I got to admit, we've increased over 150 subscriptions since Christmas, and that's good to see. Help us continue to grow that. And we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your, I guess for a lot of you, first day back at work tomorrow. Until we talk tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm out of here.